Eradicating poverty, creating employment and development. These are the principles behind Rivers of Possibilities. And during the next 30 minutes, we'll show you how. I'm Onyi Sunday. Thanks for joining us. Grassroots communities are the foundation of national development. Hosting the larger part of the population in most states, its level of development, however, is very poor. Oil-rich River State is no exception. According to the 2006 census figures of the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, the population of River State stands at 5.1 million. 7 out of 10 people living here are economically active but poor, and 80% of them reside in the rural communities. These statistics present a sharp contrast in the level of development and mineral resources abundant in the state. Nigeria's federal government controls the revenue from oil exploration and production. The Rivers government has taken steps to turn the situation around. It's refocusing its efforts on providing adequate infrastructure in its rural communities. The first step was to open up the communities by road.
We took that decision because we know that a lot of agricultural products would come from the rural area into the city, and this to improve on the economic well-being of the people also living in the rural area, and also to boost economic activities in the rural communities. And I'm sure you know that road construction in this part of our country is a big business. Big business in the sense that for you to do a bridge to a community, it will take you millions of naira. So that's what we are doing. In fact, the peculiar one is the Andoni-Opobo Unity Road. That road alone, just one single road, has 12 bridges. And as I speak to you, we have completed about 10 of that bridge. So in the next few months, the people of Andoni and the people of Opobo will be able to drive into their community. A particular community in Opobo today can drive on, which is the Kalabiama community. They can access their community on road. So these are monumental and achievement of this administration under the leadership of the Governor, Right Honorable Chibike Rotimi Amechi.
Road construction now extends to the riverine communities. Today, most of these communities are linked by roads, opening a new world of opportunities for their inhabitants.
You can drive up to Ikuru town. This is something that I'm sure the community, in fact, last few months ago when I went for a function at Ikuru town, I drove from Port Harcourt into Ikuru town. This to the people of that community is unbelievable, but that is the kind of development that this government has brought to the people. Like you are aware that the people living in the part of our state called Nkoro can now drive into their own community. This is something that is totally new to the people of Nkoro. I'm sure you are aware that the people of Bolo can today drive into Bolo community. These are coastal communities that never knew they would have access to their respective communities. And that is to show that we're not just doing what we're doing in Port Harcourt alone, we're also doing a lot in the rural area.
The 240-meter Agba Ndele Bridge is under construction. The River State government has also constructed various internal roads in the rural communities to ease interaction, trade and travel.
60% of our road infrastructure is in the rural communities in the state. And I make bold to say that there is no local government that doesn't have within 3 to 15 road projects in the local government. So that is a lot of investment on the road infrastructure in the rural area. We took that decision because we know that a lot of agricultural products would come from the rural area into the city, and this to improve on the economic well-being of the people also living in the rural area, and also to boost economic activities in the rural communities.
Meanwhile, River State is gradually gaining the reputation of a congested city. In response, government is building connecting roads. The goal, to make the city accessible to those living on its outskirts. And making use of them are farmers. Udi Michael is a transporter in one of River State's rural communities. After a harvest of cassava, He makes a living transporting the cassava to the city's main market.
Before the road is very bad, but now the road is okay. Even the people they live for the village, now they are enjoying for the road. The road is okay now, but before, you know, we pass for the road safe. Now I can go up to 3 to 4 trips, but before you even go one safe, it's a problem. Even the car safe, or even damage for roads. But now, as the road is okay, we are grateful.
65% of Nigerians are rural dwellers. For many Nigerians, living outside of urban centers comes hand in hand with abject poverty, unemployment, and lack of basic infrastructure. The state government has taken the problem to hand and is providing schools, hospitals, and health centers in its rural communities.
For the benevolence of the state governor, I'm sure most councils in River State would have been as moribund as you find in other parts of the country. But the governor took that bit from us. I'll use my own local government for instance. Before the governor took primary education, I was paying about 18 million monthly. You know, I was paying like 18 million monthly for primary education. By the time you do that, in some cases you're not able to pay salaries. You know, you're not able to pay. You know, so the only reason, I'll tell you the only reason why local government administration is working in River State is because of that decision by the governor. They took primary education off the councils. And so that way we're able to free some funds that I can, you know, reel out projects that I've done the way I have done. It could not have been possible.
What I do, because the governor has equipped the 14 classroom blocks with computers, is to take random visits through my education department to know if the students are faring very well. Because if they do that, when they go for interviews and other exams externally, they'll be able to do well. So we want to thank the governor for this he has brought in. All we need to do now is support him and administer it properly to ensure that we have a good working relationship with the Ministry of Education. And she's told us to go in at any time and find out what they're doing. I've been around the schools, especially in Ogu, and the teachers are serious, the students are serious. We've taken a census of how they're faring, and it's quite impressive. But what we want to do now is to do like public debates, you know, so we'll be able to know, to test their IQ and to know how much they know.
Despite these efforts, sizable communities still exist throughout Nigeria, which have no access to basic amenities such as clean water supply. River State is tackling the problem through the state's commercially run water corporation.
There's always a lot of investment in infrastructure, but there's no plan for sustainability. And there's so many sector players. There's so many institutions from the federal level, from the state level, from the local government level, from the legislature. Everybody's trying to do a little water project. And so we looked at the sector and we decided, okay, we need to really change the approach to the way water infrastructure is even being developed in the local government areas. We also looked at the institutional side and the governance side, and those are the issues that still remain there. They're just the same issues in the urban sector. It's the same issues we face in small towns or rural water supply. And so in our water policy and laws, we now created new institutions that could focus better and engage the local governments in a more sustainable manner in the way we're handling water supply in the local government level. So we also have set up an agency called the River State Small Towns Water Supply and Sanitation Agency and the River State Rural Water Sanitation Agency, which is supposed to handle small towns and also for rural water supply for isolated communities. We have some, what we did, we clustered communities together, communities that are close together. We try and cluster them and have a water supply system that can feed all the communities. We've taken some local governments. We had the pilot local government, which is Gokana local government, and instead of having, usually there are about 18 communities there, instead of what we used to see and have, we used to have like 18 community schemes or maybe even 20 or 30 community schemes. We now decided to have 4 with existing infrastructure, River State government infrastructure, which was designed in the 70s. We've rehabilitated those schemes, and we now have rural water supply going from 4 stations, which are manageable.
The location of most communities and settlements scattered across the rural areas makes it difficult to bring development to their doorstep. To address this, the State Water Corporation clustered most of these communities in river states into zones.
We are more focused on trying to run regional water schemes. We did the same in Eleme as well. We have the Eleme Water Supply Scheme, which takes care of about 80,000 people for Eleme. We built that scheme and commissioned that scheme last year. And we have several other schemes that are ongoing in Ubima and Egbeda and Unyeda, different local government areas as well as Ataba, which is also regional schemes. So we look at schemes in the local government area instead of isolated small schemes. We want regional schemes that will take care of several communities where they're closely located, so we're able to manage with operations and maintenance. We're currently working on the cost recovery mechanisms that are required because people have to pay for water. And so we set up WCAs, Water Consumer Associations, in the communities, which also participate to see how we can recover costs for operations and maintenance. We engage the local government council very closely and have set up wash departments at the local government council to also ensure that we're all collaborating to ensure that we can have this sustainable water supply at the local government level. We feel that there needs to be more planning done before intervention at local government levels.
To tackle unemployment, projects designed to cater to the youths can be found across the state. In the community of Ubima, the state government, in collaboration with Onida Development, an Israeli company, is constructing a modern fish farm to employ local fish farmers whose livelihood have been disrupted by oil spills. This is one of many fish farm projects replicated in 6 other rural communities.
One of the things this government has done is provision of fishing trawlers. We've bought a few fishing trawlers, which we intend to put out there. Now, because these are high-grade fishing trawlers, we need to train people for them to be able to go further ashore, because clearly you will have to have people go further ashore into the ocean to deal with the issue of pollution and going beyond the waters that are already polluted. So yes, that's one area of intervention, being able to get the right kind of equipment to move people further so there can be more deep sea fishing and aquaculture.
After the break, we'll take a look at more infrastructure projects in the rural communities poised to improve the socio-economic lives of the people. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Efforts to develop River State's rural communities continue across the state, with local government councils backing up the efforts of the state government in bringing development to their immediate communities. The efforts of the state government, though laudable, can only cater for a few. The development led by local government has proved more effective, partly because of its proximity to the affected parties.
If you're dealing with development, there is a sense in which grassroots development is critical to the overall system of governance. And for Governor Amechi, his style really is to be able to allow players defend their sectors, for want of a better word. Now, if you're going to have people deal with development, and if you don't allow those in the communities, if you don't allow a bottom-up approach, then you stand the risk of what has always happened, where people who are far removed from those communities attempt to design for the people what their programs should be, or what their concerns are, what their development should be. When they do that, you're going to have failure. Because first is that there will be a lack of ownership of that project, because the people at the grassroots will be unable to take ownership. But beyond that is the issue of being able to understand the needs, a needs assessment. Now, whatever you try to do from outside, and you very well could do something, without having the local communities define for you what their needs are and deal with those needs, you will find that you might be giving them apples instead of oranges.
Ogubolo is one community driving development through local government interaction. The people of Ogubolo are landlords of the oil and gas free trade zone, but they're still waiting for their rental payments. The 11.5 electrification project linking Bolo town to the national grid cutting across 3 local government areas, was undertaken by the local government council. It is one of such projects meant to boost its economic and social activities.
At the time we took over our office, there were quite a lot of things, a lot of needs of our people. You know, we had to first and foremost convey a town hall meeting to find out from the people the needs of the people, because we're in the capital today, but we have other communities that are far away from here. We're a riverine community, and then we have communities that are scattered all over. So we had to invite them, you know, and get to know the needs of the people. We found out that basic needs that the local government is supposed to meet in terms of potable drinking water, in terms of electricity, in terms of health, you know, we're not, you know, getting to certain people. And when I was sworn into office, we had a mandate by the governor to ensure that we do our work, get like a scorecard, and write out the things we need to do, give it a time frame, and work with it. And so I haven't known the, you know, the things that were needed. We had to go straight into action.
The thriving Olubolo market here in Ogubolo is a major trade center for the 4 communities and 20 settlements in and around this local government zone. Just 3 years ago, however, it was on the brink of collapse. This historic business hub required an urgent upgrade of the stretch of mud, which was its only point of access for traders and buyers coming in by boat. That muddy slope has been replaced by a landing jetty, and in 2013, in collaboration with a private firm in the community, the council embarked on the construction of a modern market to increase and improve commercial activities.
There is a community known as Ele community in Ogubolo. Prior to our assumption of office, that particular community did not have water to cook, to drink, or to wash with. They would pack their jerry cans into a boat, paddle across about 15 minutes to get water to walk, to cook, to wash. And when we got in there, we did soil tests in collaboration with the Ministry of Water Resources, River State, and we're given their consultants who went ahead to tell us that what could work in that community was a water treatment plant. And we had to put the machinery on motion, and today as I speak to you, that community enjoys water.
Functioning water projects can also be found across the community. The Eleme local government area is a popular investment center in River State. It is host to the only petrochemical company in River State and Nigeria's refineries. The communities around them, however, remain underdeveloped.
Basically, it's been very difficult having the companies to assist us here. It's so unfortunate, and I want that to be on record. It's been very difficult getting them to assist us. The biggest challenge we have first is that most of the companies here, the big ones, are owned by federal government. NNPC owned by federal government. The Port Authority owned by federal government, the 2 refineries and all that. So they do not assist at all, not even with the payment of any kind. Now that is further worsened by the fact that outside the companies owned by the federal government, you have the Oil and Gas Free Zone Authority. And you know the whole idea behind the free zone is that they are given a lot of incentives, a lot of tax holidays, and all these affect the revenue that should have originally accrued to the council because they don't pay by law setting up the Oil and Gas Free Zone Authority. They are exempted. And so what you are left to do is to appeal to their moral side, which it does not work, you know. So from time to time, we try to dialogue with them. We try to make them understand that they operate within an environment. And for me, I've always insisted, for a company working around here, you must at every time endeavor to try to balance your commitment to your profit and to your social responsibility. That's the only way it can work within this environment that we are, in this Niger Delta environment, because of the risk that we've been exposed to over the years of exposure to hydrocarbon and all that. And so you just cannot come and operate without giving anything. That is what we've been doing. So what I have done as a government taking into cognizance all these difficulties, the legal impediments, the lackadaisical attitude of federal companies and all that to the development of the area, what I have done is by law, I have set up what I call the Eleme Development Authority. You know, with this authority, we have defined how we want to engage them with the best of our intellectuals. So what they do, rather than the council engaging them and, you know, looking as if we have a combative interaction and relationship, is the authority that defines what we need, complementary development process, what the council needs and what Eleme people want. They are purely independent.
In partnership with various governments and non-governmental agencies, this local government council boasts strategic projects aimed at making the Eleme community economically self-sufficient. The local government constructed an e-library to keep its people informed, one of many projects designed to add value to the lives of its people.
We've been training people selected from all the communities in the LGA free. You know, we take them 3 months in basic computer appreciation, words, and even, I'm sure, choral drawing too. So we do that. We have a total. We started with like 5 or 6 computers, but now we have about 30. Those are the things we've been focusing on. First, infrastructure and human capacity building. Basically, that's what we've been working on. Of course, a lot of scholarship too. We've given up to PhD level to a lot of people from here.
In a bustling community, micro-businesses can be found in every corner. By creating a central business district, this ultra-modern market with over 1,000 stores was built strategically to accommodate the growing number of traders in the community.
Since they built the market, I'm one of the occupants that is enjoying the market, because we were inside before they demolished the market. But now you can see that the market is very large, more than the way it was before. And it's able to contain as many that want to sell in the market. And some, if you go inside the market, you will see that there are still vacancies there, which some persons have not occupied. I think I would say the way they built the market is just okay.
But it has helped our business, because some of them that comes, they see it as a thing of joy that the market is ultra-modern, unlike before that we normally suffer as such.
When you say suffer, how was the market before?
It was very tedious because there's no room in case of space, 1, 2, the level of the way they dirty the place and every other thing. And the security consciousness of the market wasn't as it is today.
To retain and recirculate capital needed to promote economic development, a community development institute known as the Eleme Development Association was established. Its goal, to raise funds for infrastructure development and education in fields relevant to businesses in their immediate surroundings.
What was existing in order to take care of this issue of communities complaining of lack of development and companies not being concerned, they had what they call a community development association, sort of, with most of the companies at the time, but it became moribund. They were not forthcoming with it. So they are working with them now, basically with MPA, to get all the majors within the oil and gas free zone, Intel, Prodeco, all of them together, and see what fund can be contributed to the development authority for the purposes of this development. And there are major concern, major area of concentration of this EDA is not just infrastructure, but funding of education. People who are ready to go to school and want to be educated, especially in fields that are relevant to the kind of businesses going on here. That's our concern, that's our concentration, so that we don't have this issue of saying, oh, they don't have the requisite qualification, and so we're not going to give them opportunities and all that. That's my focus, that's what I want to target on, you know, not just having education, but having education in fields that are relevant to what we have around here. You know, is most of the business enterprises going on at the oil and gas free zone and all that, they are basically all science oriented in nature, you know. So that's what we are doing now with the Education Trust Fund. And of course, in complementary process too, with what the River State government is doing with River State RSSDA, you know, so that's the sort of thing that I'm doing with EDA.
A couple of mobile clinics have also been acquired to bring healthcare to the doorsteps of the people. With the state government catering to the education and health needs of its local government areas, the local councils have extra funds at their disposal. With the help of the state government, these representatives believe development in the rural communities will go as far as the mind permits to ensure economic development and well-being is at the doorstep of every household. I'm Onyi Sunday. Thanks for watching.